Before the war, Khaloud and Shahed, twin sisters, lived in the north of Gaza, and they would spend their evenings planning their futures, imagining the lives they might lead. This is now the place they must call home. Like many teenagers, they used to spend time with friends and families, documenting their nights out on their phones. This is footage of their home from before. It's too dangerous to access now. But we can paint a picture based on satellite analysis of the destruction of what it's like now. The sisters fled Gaza City on foot, eventually arriving in the southern city of Khan Yunis, along with hundreds of thousands of other displaced Palestinians.
It's extremely difficult to see how the city is being completely destroyed. Nothing remains. No schools, no hospitals, no universities, and no mosques.
Due to limited access to Gaza, we have to use satellite imagery to gain an idea of the situation on the ground and to measure the destruction. This is Shahed and Khaloud's old neighbourhood, including the seaside cafe they showed our team on their phones. And this is after. All but a few buildings razed to the ground. And you can see in this map the scale of the damage across Gaza. It shows all the areas that have been hit, buildings, farms, everything in between. But it is the simplest statistic that tells the story of this conflict best. More than 40,000 people have died, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health. They do not say what proportion of that are Hamas fighters. Israel says they account for nearly half of the total. But around 13,700 were men and more than 6,000 women. And then more than 11,000 children and nearly 3,000 elderly. For those who have avoided death, their lives have still changed immeasurably. Munir still has his wife and his 5 children.
They had
a normal life like any kids, going to school, coming home to rest, and then picking up their football to play in the street or at the club.
Every evening, they'd go to the highest point in Gaza City for a coffee and to see friends. They last visited the cafe the night of October the 6th. This is what that journey up the hill would look like now, again based on satellite analysis of the damage. Today, the family live in a tent in Deir al-Balah. Aid agencies agree on what constitutes the fundamentals of life: food, healthcare, living conditions. And on every count, Gaza is a disaster. The Al-Zagh's family's new neighbourhood is in the Al-Mawasi humanitarian zone. Previously home to just a few thousand people, now it has a population density greater than Manhattan and central London. Shortages have led to a doubling of food prices since the war began, and the cost of flour and meat has tripled. All the while, infectious diseases have soared to more than 1.5 million cases, including acute respiratory disease, diarrhea, scabies and jaundice.
If I were to imagine a nightmare, it wouldn't come close to the current situation we're living in these days.
In the great reckoning of this conflict still ongoing, some things can be counted. Some cannot. Tom Cheshire, Sky News.